You're the guy people call when they need a helping hand, moving furniture, unloading a truck. But lately, your shoulder's been acting up, and you're the one who's calling for help. And that's the moment you realize you can no longer shoulder the load.
The Joint and Spine Center is Cincinnati's leading destination for orthopedic care with a range of surgical and non-surgical treatments. So when a moment has the power to change the rest of your life, go to the one place with the power to change it for the better, the Christ Hospital Health Network. This changes everything.
The Pound This podcast is brought to you by the Christ Hospital Health Network. This is the Pound This podcast, episode 608, Shay's Weight Loss Journey, weekly updates.
I want to lose weight, but I don't know how to get started.
What should I meal prep every week?
How do I get those sweet booty gains?
Inspiration for your healthy lifestyle. The Pound This podcast with Amanda Valentine.
Thank you so much for listening to the Pound This podcast. I'm Amanda Valentine. Shay's back. What up?
Hey, girl.
It's so funny because I know we've discussed this before of me calling you Shay on this podcast because Shannon was already taken by a previous Shannon. And when people write me messages and say stuff about Shay, and I'm like, oh, yeah, Shannon. I get like names confused. And I'm like,
who is Shay?
I go, yeah.
Who even is that?
Oh, and I'm sure there's so many episodes where I just like full on call you Shannon and not Shay. Which is so funny because I've worked with so many people with fake radio names in my life, including my husband, and I was able to keep that straight. But for some reason, like my brain is just like, oh, we're done with that phase of life.
I know. I was really triggered the first time that you and Josh were like, listen, we got to call you something else. I was like, I like my name. Okay, I just want to be Shannon.
It's so funny because what did he say? He mentioned something about, he said Shannon, and I thought he was talking about you, and I got really confused. And he's like, no, the other Shannon. And no,
it's that I said something, and I was like, I didn't say that.
Oh, he said that he's like, Shannon said I should be on Second Date Update, which is a radio bit. If you're here in Cincinnati, guess what? It's a radio bit all over the country. And so, again, I should do a whole podcast on Inside Radio. And and when you came in to train, because I was shadowing, I'm like, Josh said that you should be on Josh should be on Second Date Update. And you're like, what the hell are you talking about? I never said that. And he's like, the other Shannon. I'm like, oh, you didn't clarify who you're talking about.
I want to be the only Shannon.
I mean, you are now. I don't really talk to the other Shannon because with other Shannon, she like pretty much like her social media of choice is Facebook, which I deleted. So I don't even see what she's up to anymore, or anybody that's like exclusively on Facebook. I don't really see. I go check like once a week to see if I missed any messages on like my Amanda Valentine's Bites page or anything, but like that's about it. And I honestly don't miss being on Facebook.
No. I've been off Facebook for 2 years now, and it's the best thing I ever did.
Well, speaking of the best thing you ever did, let's talk about your health and fitness and weight loss journey. How was the past week?
I'm on a continual struggle bus, if I'm going to be honest.
Oh, well,
my mental health is not well.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, yeah. But my therapist went out of town for 2 weeks during a pandemic.
During the holiday season.
Yes. And I'm like, listen, Shan cannot handle this right now. So
you mean Shay?
Yeah, Shay. It's funny because my nieces they call me Aunt Shay.
Aw.
So yeah. But yeah, anyway. So like I'm not like going off the deep end. I'm still like making okay decisions, but it's just I'm a lot more tempted to like eat crap I shouldn't eat, and like I constantly like when I get home from work at night I have to like stop myself from like binging. So it's just more frustrating. So
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well,
it's okay. It's fine.
Are you still doing a good job of staying off the scale since that affects your mental health?
Well, this week I didn't weigh myself because I knew that it was going to be a whole, like I was going to completely wreck myself. So I'm having a hard time. It's either like I'm weighing myself at night and in the morning, or I'm like, I'm not going to weigh myself because it's going to be a whole mental thing. So, I I don't know. It's frustrating because I was telling Josh this, but in my head, if I don't weigh myself, I'm going to gain 20 pounds in a week.
Yeah.
Like that's what I think.
Mm-hmm.
And that never happens.
Yeah.
But in my head, I'm like, if you don't weigh yourself, like you've probably gained 20 pounds this week. And it's never that way, but that's why it's like, I don't know. It's such a weird mental game.
It totally is. And yeah, if you're not in a better mental space with everything else in life, this scale just adds, gas to that fire.
Right.
It's just, it's a horrible cycle. Like, that's why I'm like, I only want to step on the scale if my mental health is correct. If it's going to ruin my day or my week, then that has to be a no-go. Which is why I spent a lot of 2020 not checking my weight. It wasn't going to help. But I mean, now I'm doing weekly weigh-ins and I'm totally cool with it. And even though I'm doing a reverse diet right now, so it's like weight loss isn't the goal. So that's a mental game for me. So every week I'm getting on the scale, I'm taking pictures, which is also always fun to see yourself in bra and underwear.
Yeah.
And doing measurements every week. And so like I have to go into it knowing of like, I'm so conditioned myself that, you want that weight to be down and to be obsessive about the scale going down. And then I'm like, that's not the goal right now, Amanda. Like every time I get on it, if like it is not going down or it's staying steady, like that is the goal right now. I'm doing a reverse diet. So it's like, but it's still part of you, like the original, it's just that stomach feeling of like, oh God, what is this? I'm like, oh no. And then it's those conversations. It's like just not a fun process, even when now I feel like I am in a mental space to weigh myself every week, which is why I'm doing it. But it's still like, having a positive relationship with a scale is a struggle for, I feel like, so many people, which is why it's so good to have other markers of like your measurements, how your clothes fit, how you feel, what's your energy like. All of those things are so much more important than the damn scale, but yet we still let it just shove a knife right into our heart.
Literally, that's what it's like.
I know. Sucks.
You stabbed me again.
I know, right?
God.
Yeah, and especially like I'm super PMS-y right now. I know, just because I'm like, which I have to tell you an emotional story I had here, and I just know it's PMS. So then that I know the scale is going to be up, and plus I just feel just fat. Like you just feel terrible, like mentally and physically. My PMS is stupid, and so Shelly from Shalates, and I know that she'll listen to this. So like she only knows this story through text. She posted a picture of me on Instagram of me on the reformer from a class I took Saturday. And I saw the picture on Instagram and I just lost it. Like I started crying because I'm like, I just hated how I looked. I'm just not in a good space with that right now, which if you do follow me on Instagram, I have not posted a lot of like body shots. I haven't done hardly any like before and after pictures or anything this year. I've discussed on this podcast going through depression, and I'm just in a weird mental space where I feel like I'm getting a lot better, but I don't feel in a space where I feel super confident with my body right now. And I definitely don't feel confident with my body being on the internet to be open for judgment. Although I will say everybody has, at least in this community, been very, very nice and supportive. It's just, I can't handle that right now. And plus it was the PMS. So I just like lost it. And then I feel bad now because you get like in those PMS, like whirlwinds of emotions. And I texted her and I'm like, I hate this picture of myself. And then she's like, well, she's like, I think you look great. You look gorgeous. And Shelly, oh my God, she said so many nice things. She's like the most supportive, awesome freaking person. And then I'm like, take it down.
I was going to say, I didn't see this picture.
Yeah, because I like lost my mind. And then I text her, I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, I'm trying not to be a bitch. I'm trying not to be a diva of just kind of like, edit like this picture myself. I'm going to tell you how to run your Instagram account. I just was in like an emotional flurry. And that's the time where I should not pick up my phone and talk to people. But I couldn't help myself. I just like went into like this, I hate how I look here. I can't handle this right now. and just dump my crap onto her. And I feel so freaking bad about it. But it's like, but that's life. Like, you know what I mean? Of like, this is exactly how I behaved. And, you know, I've been doing this thing a whole long time. And there's a lot of pictures of me on the internet doing some really stupid things. And so it's just kind of like, other times I'm like, I don't mind. Like if people take a picture of me and tag me in it and it's like not the best picture of me, normally I'm like, whatever, let it slide. Like I don't make a habit out of like jumping in people's asses saying like, I don't like this picture of me, take it down. I mean, I've been tagged in, especially working in radio, being in concerts and taking pictures with people I don't even know, hundreds of pictures over the course of years that I'm like, whatever. I don't care if I look fat in that picture, to me, like whatever. And so I just could just tell like, that's how shitty my mental health is right now. And so, she took it down and, you know, I had a conversation about body image and stuff like that. But like, again, it's just, and then, you know, the next day, which was yesterday, I'm like, oh my God, why did I say that? And I'm like, why did I behave that way? And I'm like, oh my God, I hope she doesn't hate me. I just like feel so bad of like just dumping my insecurities on someone else. So Shelly, I'm sorry.
Yeah, she texted me about you. She was like, oh my God, you'll never believe what Amanda did.
That bitch.
I'm kidding.
I know. She would never do that. But it's also, you know, outside of that, which I hope I didn't scare her away from taking photos of me ever now. It's just like, you caught me. She like just caught me in the worst time, like PMS just trap. And then I had another meltdown. It was like a couple hours later over this certification I'm working on, having like it was just difficult trying to understand these concepts in the specific chapter I was on. And I was just sitting where you're seeing me sit now in my office here in my house. And it was just bawling, just crying, losing my mind. And so I'm like, it's one of them days.
One of them years.
Right? And so, but then I just stayed here by myself. And even Mike came upstairs and he's like, you all right? And I'm like, no, go away. Don't look at me like this. Like, you don't want to get in this. You don't want in this tornado. Trust me. Go back downstairs. And he's like, bye, peace.
See ya.
He knows better. And so, yeah, but like, again, it's just the importance of like where Shelly was awesome. Of, you know, I mean, Shelly, like we both go to Pilates and she's a Pilates instructor, but she's like, a friend of like, to understand of like this non-self love. I don't want to say self-hatred, but it's like, when you get into those spins, like it's hard and it's gross and it's like and it's like just being in a binge. Like for me, like when I'm in a binge, like everything else gets muted around me. I'm just like in the eye of the hurricane. And that's how I feel like, I think that I only really go into these hard spins with body image and stuff like that when I'm PMSing. Like already my mood is like, you know, I'm crying at commercials on Hulu and I'm like, oh my God, like this is not me. So I mean, just thank you. Shout out to just awesome supportive people in your life that like understand and will try to be like, you know, other people don't see you that way. Like it's you shouldn't shut up about that about yourself. Not shut up, but like understand, but also be like, you're seeing it wrong. So Pilates.com.
She's your girl.
Yeah.
She will hype you up.
Yes. If you want a supportive Pilates instructor virtually or in person, Shelly is awesome. And that's where I'm just like, oh my God. I'm like, if like, at least out of people that I kind of like lost it on, I'm glad that it was somebody that like understood my brain space and was super supportive. And nothing against Josh at Cincy 360 Fitness, who's a trainer, both of us. I feel like if I had that same emotional moment with him, like he would not know how to handle it.
He would have been like, what the fuck? You need to calm down.
He'd be like, he would just like run and hide, which I feel like would be like, just, you know, that's kind of what my husband has learned to do. But this is where me and like Mike are different though, because he'll be like, what is it? And like try to like pull it out of me. And I'm like, you just need to leave me alone. Like I'm going to say stuff that I'm going to feel bad about later. Just get away from me. Let me work this out and then let the storm pass. And then I'll be like, oh, okay, now I can think clearly again. Which I imagine that's the same thing for dudes whenever they want to bang somebody. They can't think clearly until they get it out of their system. And then they're like, oh,
that was embarrassing.
Yeah, right. Like,
Yeah, dude. No, I work with all women, man, and I'm like, it's been interesting for me to like see how every different body type. I don't work with a single girl who I feel like doesn't have days where they just feel like fat and ugly.
I know, and
Like
it's so
doesn't
sad.
it is, and it's like it sounds bad, but it's been good for me to see because I feel like it almost like the more that you witness that with women and the more that like girls are just like, I feel fucking fat and ugly today. Like it's almost like then you can like shower that person with love for a minute and like, I don't know, I feel like it's kind of important to be like, I feel like shit today. I feel like I look ugly and I don't like myself. Like just put it out there instead of internalizing it.
Yeah.
And
I think
then
it also though
hopefully-
depends on who you're putting it out there to though.
Right. Like you said, it's, you know, it would be different depending on who's responding. But if you have a good community of people, it's like, I feel like it's okay to share it. And then you have some sort of support in that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it totally depends on who you're putting it out to because some people aren't going to give a crap.
Yeah, and that's why I feel very fortunate that at least currently I have multiple people that will understand my brain space and you know will be understanding and comforting, and then I hope I'm that for other people too, of like I totally get it. I hope that I'm a person that somebody could open up to like that and be like, this is hard and I'm crying in the bathroom and I feel like hell, and just like, okay, well, I understand you. I'll listen to you and give you some comforting words and not judge you for it. Of just like, what? You're hot. Shut up. You know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, that's nice, but it's also like, I don't know. It's just, it's one of those things of just like, you're stupid. Like you're hot or what, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, you're being nice, but it's also at the same time of like, I don't think that you're fully hearing me, if that makes sense. Although I've never really had anybody have that reaction to me, but it's usually like back away slowly. And I think that's also like, you know, for me, like most of my personality most of the time is like fun, bubbly, positive. So then when I'm not the positive person, it's like, oh God.
What's happening? This is scary.
This makes me feel uncomfortable to be around like psycho Amanda instead of like, you know, fun Amanda.
Right. There is a little bit of pressure when you're like the fun person.
Right. And that's
then people expect that. And then when you're not, they're like, oh, whoa, I do not like this.
Yeah. Right. So that's been like more difficult for me, not more, but like it's been a challenge for me this year of, you know, not feeling like my normal self for several months this year of like, but it's not me, and I don't want to put this version of me out there because I don't feel like this is just going to be me forever. And I don't know. And especially when you tie like social media into it, which is basically like you try to just project who you are into the world when you're feeling these awful things about yourself. Like that's not something you want to like project out there, especially when people already get a vibe for you as a certain kind of person. But it's also good to recognize of like, not everybody is that way all the time, but it's also a balance of like, this is what I'm going through, but I'm also not going to make you deal with it every day.
Right.
I already feel bad that for the people that have to like Mike that has to deal with me every day. Although there's been a lot more better days now. Shout out to antidepressants.
Yes. Keeping me alive for years, man.
Oh, so many people have said that to me since I've been talking about that. So I've been on Wellbutrin for 4 or 6 weeks or something like that now. And so many people in my personal life and online have reached out and they're just like, yeah, antidepressants have saved my life, like legit. And I'm like, it's so interesting because it's something that is not discussed. Like it's, I don't know why it's seen as like, so, you know, if you almost like watch The Sopranos of like, oh my God, he's in therapy. You know, it just feels like it's, which have you ever watched The Sopranos? No? Oh yeah. It's just like, I don't know. It's just like a different era of time of like, you don't talk about those sorts of things.
Right.
It's embarrassing to say that you go to therapy, but I just feel like the climate has changed where we are now. It's like, no, it's a good thing. Like you shouldn't be ashamed of it, but it's
I'm
also
like, let's talk about it so that you realize that most of the people, not most of the people, but a good amount of people are freaking talking to somebody.
yeah. And I'm just like, how can you get through a year like this year without being affected mentally in some way? Like, even I know so many people are like, my life is great right now. Like I have nothing to complain about really. And it's just still like, it still just tears you down in different ways. And so many people have gained weight or changed the way that their body looks this year or the way their body feels, because even if you're not gaining weight, if you're working from home and you just have aches and pains you didn't have before, like people's bodies have changed a lot this year, whether you've had COVID or not even those effects of it. It's like, how does that not take some sort of mental toll on you?
Right.
And so to just kind of hide it away and only feel it yourself, sucks. But it's like, it'd be better just to openly talk about it than let it bottle up and blow up on somebody.
Right. Well, and that's why you have to do crap like talk to people or take medication. Like, I don't know. I've talked to a lot of people about the medication thing because like it's a chemical imbalance, like anxiety, depression, and all that. So it's not necessarily like sometimes you need medication to control like the chemical imbalance.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're a weak person. It's literally like, and it doesn't, another thing I try to explain to people is it's not like it makes me the happiest person alive. It keeps me from going off the deep end. And it levels me out so that I can function like a normal person.
Yeah, I just had to do like an update with a doctor about how I feel on it. And I'm like, I feel it's good because I feel more like me. Like it doesn't make me skyrocket into some superhuman, or I feel like I just like crushed 3 bangs in a row or something. That I'm like, I'm enjoying the little things in life like I did before. Like I had a few months of just like being in this dark place. I'm like, all I wanted was me back. Like I have no higher expectations than that. I just wanted to feel like me. And she's like, that's 100% perfect. She's like, that's the answer I was looking for. And so I'm like, okay. I'm like, that's just what I wanted. I just wanted to view life through the same lens that I had before 2020.
Right.
So
before 2020 wrecked us.
Right. Oh, but in 2021, it's going to be our year.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Hey man, positive vibes.
Better.
Positive vibes out there. 2021 is going to be a good year.
Oh God. I mean, I'm hoping it's at least a little better,
I feel like it's got to be, right? I mean, I don't want to jinx it, but it feels like, I don't know, at least we know what we're in for. You know what I mean? At least I feel like that's already a win, that we understand what we're getting into, instead of like one day everything's cool, the next day everything's shut down. You're like, huh?
Like nothing, I don't feel like anything with the pandemic could happen now that would be like, oh, this is a surprise. Like, wow, we didn't expect this. Oh God, you're like, I don't know.
I mean, who knows? This year what if the murder hornets are giving it to us next year?
It won't be a surprise.
Yeah,
we'll be like, yeah, this is normal.
I guess the thing is, it couldn't be a surprise now because nothing surprises us now.
No.
Like if somebody's just like aliens drop down and like just,
I would laugh.
You just feel like, yeah, I mean, that sounds about right.
Yeah, this is what I expect at this point.
I mean, that's true. So yeah, I guess it couldn't surprise us because now we're numb.
I'll be like, typical.
Right? Oh my God. So yeah, I mean, that's a positive way to look at it.
I'm just laughing at everything at this point.
I mean, that's what you can,
that's all you can do.
Right? It's control your controllables. Control what you can control.
Oh my God.
Everything else.
How many times Josh has said that to me?
Really?
God. Who said it first? You or him? Did he steal your line?
Who knows? I don't know. Oh my God, are we turning into the same person?
I don't know. I'm like, he literally said that to me like last week or something. Now you're saying it. God.
Let's just say he got it from me.
That's what I was thinking.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't even know if I've said that before. I don't know what I do anymore. I don't know what I say, even though there's a record of everything I say for years. That's like just lives on the internet of all the crap that I've said. I had a friend reach out to me yesterday and ask me for something. I sent him audio that I recorded in 2017. So it's yeah, well, it was a submission to win the CMA award. So like he's applying because he works in radio for the CMA award, and he was like, how do you win this thing? And I'm like, well, here's the audio that I use, because I'm like, I just got audio laying around, which I do, since I have audio of me talking just on the radio from, I started 2002, and then plus when I was a kid, I would make cassettes of me acting like I was on the radio. Those still exist.
Dude, I need those.
Oh, you know what you should hear, because I was like, so I think my brother is 5, so which means I'm 10, because I talked to my brother in it, which I gotta find that cassette. I need to make that a digital thing before the cassette stops working. And so I'm doing a little radio show, but I'm creating my own fake commercials in it. And because I've always just loved Dolly Parton, in my 10-year-old brain, the commercial break from my radio show was for Dolly Parton's new perfume, which I named, I named "Honk If You're Horny."
You were 10?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, listen. My birthday is next month. If you could get all that together for me, that would be everything.
Yeah, see, once I make that digital, then that can just also live forever too.
It needs to. Honk if you're horny. I would buy that. And people would be like, "What are you wearing?" "Oh, I'm wearing honk if you're horny." Honk, honk.
I do that in the commercial too.
No. Wow. Best day.
Yeah, I say some other inappropriate stuff too. That's where I'm like, listen, I'm like, oh my God. And then my brother is in it, and my brother used to say, and I only remember because it's in this audio, he used to say this all the time. He would stand really straight and be like, "I'm standing like a 1." And he does that. So I'm over here "Honk if you're horny" and honking into my boombox, and he's in the background. I'm standing like a 1.
Okay, that's amazing.
And then I'm like, I'm gonna make a career out of this.
And look at you now.
And here we are.
Wow. Okay.
I'll work on getting that. We actually have a thing that we got from, oh my God, this is the radio station me and Mike met at. It's a thing that converts cassettes into digital audio. So we actually have the machine to do it in our house. So I should
no
do
excuses
that.
then.
I know, but a lot of my early stuff's all in cassettes. And some of the stuff I was on in college, some of the really inappropriate stuff on my college station is on mini disc, which I don't know if you've ever used a mini disc. Probably not. No. You're too young for that. Mini discs were supposed to be the new CD. And they never really hit, but we used them at my college station for the minute that they were popular. So now I have some of my stuff on mini disc. We're going off on a tangent here, but I did right before I left college to go to my first full-time radio job. I was on the air for 89 hours straight for charity. And so it was me and my co-host at the time, his name's Tyler. We were on the air for 89 hours. And so you can imagine when it's 3 a.m. and you're alone over Christmas break in a college campus, that we were doing some weird stuff.
Oh, yeah.
We climbed to the roof and threw stuff off the roof, and we were racing chairs up and down hallways and flushing toilets on the air and just dumb crap. So
it sounds amazing.
It was super fun. That's the kind of radio I think is so fun. And I tried to do something similar to that here a couple it might have been 2017. I think it was 2017 where we did, it was my idea to do like a slumber party the night before Thanksgiving on the air. So we stayed on the air till midnight and just like got in our jammies and tried to do I just thought like do all this fun, silly stuff for the people that didn't hit the bars the night before Thanksgiving. I feel like families, you're in town, like it's a different vibe because everybody's in town of like, let's have this like fun slumber party, goofy vibe on the air. I think I was probably the only person that really enjoyed it.
As long as you had a good time.
But I'm always down to do another marathon if you want to do a podcast marathon with me.
Dude, we would get so weird.
My favorite podcast does that every year. They do a Kickstarter for it to raise money. And they have all these different levels so they can do like a 24-hour marathon every year. And I'm like, oh, that would be so fun to do, but I don't really know if people want to listen to me for 24 hours straight.
I would do just about anything you asked me to do.
Oh my God. Well, you say that. Oh, I can come up with some weird stuff.
I have a couple ideas already.
Oh, dang. We're going to have to talk about this. That was a discussion for later. If you're listening to this and you would be down for a marathon, for sure, let me know. Send me a DM on Instagram at You Can Pound This, or send me an email, Amanda@AmandaValentineBites.com, because if people are into it, I'll do it. I can think of some fun things to do. We could do it at the gym since I have a studio at the gym.
Yes. Oh my God. We could do some weird stuff at the gym.
Yeah. On that note.
Wow.
Something to think about.
This was a wild, wild ride.
I know, right? Man, every week I just get more and more off the rails, but whatever. It's my podcast. Do whatever I want.
I do what I want.
I honk if I'm horny, okay?
Oh my God. I'm just going to laugh randomly all day. I'm thinking about your brother. God.
Oh my God. Yeah, I need to listen to see what else.
Stand like a one.
My cousin's in it too. My cousin Timmy is in it too.
That's awesome.
Oh my God.
Timmy.
Right? I don't think that he goes by Timmy anymore. But anyway. All right. Well, maybe we'll check in next week. I don't know. It's Christmas. We'll figure that out later, but we'll definitely check in at some point.
All right. Well, I'll see you at some point.
Yeah. Well, I'll see you later today at the gym.
Yes.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
For info on health coaching and more, go to AmandaValentineBites.com.